Oh, what have I gotten myself into now? Goodness me, what have I gotten myself into now? You probably want to know what that is. Well, long story short, I now have another show that, I actually really do kind of like. I do. And it's the kind of show where technically I would have liked it okay, but I didn't think I would like it as much as I do now. Plus, there are so many elements that are familiar, at least to me, that I was worried would sort of decrease the overall quality of this show. But it's worked around in a way that I can either ignore it, or since it already thoroughly entertained me once, there's no reason why it really shouldn't do it again. And that show is Central Park. Yeah, the new animated show. I think it's on like Apple Plus or something. So, yeah. What is Central Park? Well, keep in mind I've only really seen one episode, but I've seen a lot of like trailers and promotions for it. And off the bat, you'll notice that it's from like some of the people that are behind the show Bob's Burgers, which is a show that, I do like. But the problem with Bob's Burgers, at least after a while for me, is that like the show kind of got a little bit formulaic. Like if you've seen Bob's Burgers, Bob is, sort of the easygoing pushover kind of guy who has like a crazy, wild family, and at least the family members are crazy in comparison to him by a long shot. And shenanigans ensue. And don't get me wrong, I do like that on occasion. In fact, one of my all-time favorite Bob's Burgers episodes is the crawl space episode. If anyone has ever seen that. And I was really worried I would sort of get that sort of thing watching Central Park. But thankfully, that's not remotely the case at all. So that's why, but that's why I'm glad. But, the animation is actually a little more fluid than Bob's Burgers, if now I think about it. But, like, the animation and, like, the character design, that is all, like, from the people behind Bob's Burgers. Right down to characters kind of sounding funny, in a way. In a good way, though. So, so again, that's something that, I noticed, but I can forgive it because it is thoroughly entertaining. Another problem I had going into watching Central Park for the first time that I really was worried about was some of the cast. Now, I want to make this perfectly clear. I don't hate any of the cast at all here. But when I see that both Josh Gad and Kristen Bell are some of the members of the cast, I'm like, oh no. They're not trying to do another Frozen, are they? And don't misunderstand me. I love Frozen. Okay? I am a brosen. That's what I call a male fan of Frozen. I am a brosen. Okay? If anyone should be happy that, Josh Gad and Kristen Bell are doing, more musical stuff, it ought to be me. But I'm worried that maybe Kristen Bell and Josh Gad I was worried that they'd be playing similar characters than what they did on Frozen. Josh Gad being essentially the lovable mascot, and Kristen Bell kind of being, the tougher sort of Disney princess type character. And at least for Kristen Bell, that's not the case at all. Josh Gad plays a busker, the street performer. He's also the narrator of the show. Kind of like... Actually, you know what it is? It's like the rooster from Disney's Robin Hood. The minstrel, because the rooster in that movie was the minstrel, or early day folk singer. He had a lute, which is like a fancy stringed instrument. And he's like singing some of the songs. Like, that's essentially what Josh Gad is, only he's a street performer. But he's a good street performer. He's definitely not... Well, I personally never found Olaf to be annoying, but should you be one of the people who finds Olaf annoying from Frozen? He's not like that here. His performance is actually quite subtle and likable. So I can't really complain. I like that guy. I would say, in fact, I'll be honest, right? I mean, yeah, I've only seen one episode, so I have to watch more. Of like the characters I've seen the most of this show, he's definitely a contender for my favorite. But another one of my favorites has got to be like the main villain of the show, Bitsy, the multi-billionaire heiress voiced by Stanley Tucci. She's awesome. She's voiced by Stanley Tucci, but Stanley Tucci's doing a sort of feminine, sort of female voice. Ooh, that's nice. I like that sort of thing. And it's hilarious. I like that sort of joke a little more than I probably should. But I really do enjoy that sort of thing. I do. Everyone in the cast is good. Leslie Odom Jr., Tituss Burgess, Captain Han. They're all great. I really can't say. I can't really say there's been I've only seen one episode, so who knows if I find anything that's like that. But from what I've seen, I really like. Although now that I think, while I'm still thinking about this now, because I just brought this up a moment ago, is that Disney's Robin Hood. They're actually going to do like they did for The Lion King and make a quote-unquote live action version of that. Surprisingly, though, I'm actually not upset by this. If anything, it's about 50%, actually, no, 25% annoyed, 25% disappointed, 25%, oh no, they're really going to do this again, aren't they? And believe it or not, 25% optimistic. That number will increase if one cat, should they actually make a live action? It's going to be anthropomorphic animals, so quote-unquote live action. If they actually do this, there's one casting choice I want to see, and technically I brought them up earlier. And, because if you saw, Disney's Robin Hood when you were a kid, then, they're anthropomorphic animals. Robin Hood was a fox, which was actually pretty clever. Little John was a bear. Yeah, that was actually really clever, too. Especially when he was voiced by Phil Harris. He was really cool. Yeah. But, again, Friar Tuck being a badger, that was pretty good. The bad guy being, the bad guy who was the king, he was a lion. Seriously, that's clever sort of Disney-related stuff. I like that. I like Disney's Robin Hood, actually. I really do. That's why I was a little bit worried when I heard that they're actually going to try and, make that movie. But then a thought occurred. And that's the rooster. Who is the narrator. And, who was the narrator of that movie. And did some of the singing. And he actually was, a character in the movie as well. If anything, you could sort of call him as one of Robin Hood's merry men, even though technically, spoiler, in the movie he got captured. There's a little tax thing. I'm getting sidetracked. There's one casting choice I want to see, and that's the rooster. And I think some of you guys know where I'm going with this. If they get Matthew McConaughey to be the rooster in that iteration of Disney's Robin Hood, you know what? I will actually be on board. I'm still going to avoid the movie if the critics give it a pretty bad score, which they probably will. But I would be interested in seeing McConaughey have a role like that. I really would. I'd watch it. Yeah. It looks like it'd be fun. Plus, I think there's a lot of stuff you could probably do with today's technology in which you could do more stuff with the anthropomorphic animals in that movie. That really wouldn't be a bad idea, actually. So yeah, had to get that out of the way. So back to Central Park. I really liked this show. I'm definitely going to watch more of it, for sure. I mean, I'm really worried that it could potentially fall into the familiarity that's Bob's Burgers formula. Or, that Kristen Bell and Josh Gad could potentially take over and essentially make it like the second coming of Frozen. I mean, I'm still going to be worried about that, but for now, I can say you don't really get that here. So, that's good. I definitely recommend... Actually, hold on one moment. I want to check some. Because some shows have scores on Rotten Tomatoes as well. Let's see. Okay. A 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. Okay. Oh, and it even has consensus too. With warmth, wit, and a pitch-perfect ensemble. I just mentioned how good the ensemble was, so I can't really complain with that. Central Park is a joyously hilarious musical love letter to the Big Apple. Okay. So, I actually made the right call with this one. That's awesome. So, again, with what I just said earlier, the whole Bob's Burgers thing and, everything else. I mean, from what I've seen, I don't really get that here. I mean, I'm still going to be worried that it'll fall into some of those traps. But I think as long as, the cast sort of keeps up this sort of, level of high integrity, it should be fine. But we can only, make guesses on to what it'll be going. Trying to put my computer right down. Hold on a second. There we go. Sometimes I always forget that because I always sit practically in front of my smoke detector whenever I do a video like this, and I think this one I perfectly am in the exact center where the smoke detector would be. I mean. Technically, I really shouldn't complain. It's very good that I have a smoke detector. It really is, because, safety first. Plus, as a guy who lives on his own and likes to cook, sometimes I will sort of, overcook and burn things. Although, and sometimes I'll forget to turn on the ventilation over my stove, because I'm an idiot. And sometimes the alarm does go off, and when it goes off, it goes off. But, I haven't even lived on my own actually, I have lived on my own for a long time. But I haven't even lived here for a year. And so, I'm still learning. And I guess that's sort of a learning process, I suppose. Anyway, in terms of this weekend, I'll be heading up to Keep the Lake a little bit later this afternoon. Work on a couple things. My father and I are going to try and put the jet ski into the water, which, he and I have done it, just the two of us in the past. It's just one of those things where I wish he had more people. Oh well. Actually, for a second I thought about filming how the process works, but this is one instance where you need all hands on deck to make sure everything goes smoothly. And a part of that could actually be taken literally. So, I'll explain. I'll be able to explain how it works at some point. I should be able to. Other than that, I'm just getting ready to enjoy a nice weekend. Things are starting to open up around here again, which is nice. I'm certainly glad for that. And outside of that, I hope everyone else has a really good weekend. So, like, favorite, share, hit that subscribe button, follow me on the social media platforms, notifications on YouTube. I am very humbled. I made this video for all you guys watching enjoy this morning. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Saturday. And remember, you guys know we're talking chat movies. We're here to London here. Always have your back. Take care and make good choices. See ya.